The leap from homeschool to high school is different for every student. And so the transcripts look different, the skills look different, even the college exams come out different. But there are challenges that we might not consider addressing because we're so focused on getting those academics in and getting those test scores in. And so today I want to talk to you about some of the challenges that students need to be prepared for when they go to college. For starters, when they go to college, there's no parent supervision. You might be able to have FaceTime once in a while, but you're not there to help guide and lead. And the academic pressures are so much greater. Some students think, oh, I can take 18 credits or maybe even 15 credits, and it just is more than they realize it's going to be. And just the assignments that come their way, from projects to papers to reading and reading and reading. You do a lot of reading in college. Also, the social pressures can be overwhelming. Roommates, friends in class, just maybe even relationships outside of that are weighing in on the student. And then keeping on top of things can add stress to a student. From laundry, perhaps they now have stains or holes. They don't know what to do. They're stressed because they're not looking good when they go to class. Just keeping up on diet and exercise, and most importantly, the sleep. Multiple assignments come their way and they're finding themselves staying up late at night. Just trying to regulate all these things is new and different for college students. And then there's plenty of distractions in college, whether it's a sporting event, fine arts, special meeting they need to go to, other activities that they get involved in that are going to be a distraction from that college bound student. So we want to help students prepare, yes, academically, yes, get those test scores in, yes, make sure you have those transcripts ready. But also there's several things that I want to talk to you today about ways to help our teenagers be successful when they go to college. So several of these points can be applied even if they don't go to college, but we encourage students to assume that they're going to college so they'll be best prepared. But these skills will certainly be used as they find themselves adulting, as they go out on their own.
Yes. So hold on just a second. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself and say, this is Renee Krepfle in this session, and she's with the admissions at Bob Jones University.
Sorry, I thought you were going to throw that in later. Got it. All right. So we're going to start over.
Okay, let me start. I was like, let me back. I mean, that was a good intro if we wanted to launch into this is what we're going to talk about. But I do want to start with this little bit. So let's just do a do-over real quick.
That's fine.
So for this session, we're going to be talking with Renee Krepfle from Bob Jones University Admissions. And she has lots of great advice for preparing our students and giving them the skills beyond what's on your transcript, preparing for if they're going to go to college. But even if you're not planning on going to college, a lot of these are great, skills that need to be, incorporated into your academic plan for high school, because they're all going to be doing Adulting 101 after this. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Renee.
All right. So as you said, I'm in the admissions department at Bob Jones University. I homeschooled my 3 children. I worked with homeschoolers through the public schools in Iowa for 26 years, started 2 programs there. And now I'm helping the university supporting homeschool families. We have about a third of our students are homeschoolers. So we want to be that good support to them.
Excellent. And this is great advice, even if you don't want to go to Bob Jones or you don't want to go to college at all. But these are great things to know, especially if you do want to go to college. So I'm excited to hear what you have from your experience, some practical things that we can begin implementing.
Sure. So the leap to homeschool to high school is different for each person, but definitely there's a leap nonetheless. So even if students are well prepared academically, they've gotten good test scores and their transcripts are looking stellar, there's challenges that every student is going to face when they come to college. And so we want to talk a little bit about those. For starters, there's no parent supervision there at college, and there's academic pressures they have probably never faced before. the rigors of college definitely are real, and those students may or may not be prepared for that. So that could be a very stressful thing. And then they've got social pressures. They've got new roommates, they've got friends, they might even have relationships beyond that that are going to play into their whole college experience. And then just keeping on top of things, their work schedule, their college class schedule, and all the assignments. And then there's laundry and eating and sleeping. And you know what college student gets enough sleep? Wait till they really become adult, right? And then they'll really know what lack of sleep is. And then they're gonna be having just a number of distractions. There's going to be events to go to, whether it's sports or just college events, fine arts, and they might have a side job, just different activities that are going to be all these pressures that come on, and it's gonna become a lot of pressure that they haven't handled themselves before. Maybe mom and dad have really kind of called the shots mostly up until then. Maybe they've had some autonomy, but certainly getting them prepared for college is more than going to Target and buying that comforter and computer and the supplies they're going to need. So there's several. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the orientations that I've been to for college orientation, they kind of tell them that, like, you got to do work here. This is not camp. You can't just come play.
Yes. And they might have even had some difficult AP courses, but I think college is a whole new level. So
managing all of the things.
Exactly.
When no one's there to tell you, hey, you have to go to class.
Exactly. So we want those students to come and be successful. And certainly if they don't go to college, these are still going to be tools that they're going to need throughout their life. So the first one is teaching them time management skills. You know, as I was teaching my children, you know, I decided when we were doing math and I decided when we were going to the store and all those things. And sometimes that just kind of continues on even through high school. And then they get to college and it's all on their own. So helping your children identify priorities, setting goals and dividing up those goals into smaller goals to tackle them, staying on schedule. And what happens if the schedule gets off? Being able to adjust that schedule in a wise way, and not just giving up the towel and saying, I can't do this, but reworking and then looking ahead. Part of time management is seeing what's coming in the future. I did have one child in my home that didn't see too far into the future. And so decisions were made for today and not tomorrow. And that's really a skill to develop, to see that I've got these assignments, and certainly the syllabus is going to tell your students that, but figuring out how to divide that up, set goals, and how am I going to accomplish all of this in this semester? So things that might be helpful now is putting them in charge of making sure when they're getting up and going to bed. I knew of one family, and sure, they might be a little bit unusual on this side, but they taught their children that even if there was company in the home, they would be in bed by 9:30. So as that was a skill that helped them make wise choices in time. It wasn't easy to pull themselves away from the company, but they learned to just be disciplined to go to bed no matter what. So obviously there are exceptions to that, but to just build into their lives opportunities so they can be going to bed at a sensible time and getting up at a regular time. Even being a part of creating their schedule in their day, maybe even math. Maybe they look at their math for the year and divide up, how am I going to accomplish this? Hey, I really want to go on this fishing trip, and that cuts right into school. How am I going to do a schedule so that I won't have to be worried about missing school and getting behind? And so those are things we can incorporate today that will help them tomorrow. And then again, just breaking those projects up into smaller goals and steps, helping them now develop those skills so that when they get to college, it's more of a natural thing than learning that all in once.
Yeah, that executive function to be able to take a project and say, this is the steps that I need to do to make it happen, is something that can be developed all along, the journey from starting from elementary school, so that they can, start managing those kinds of projects. And
yes, definitely you can start much earlier than high school in a lot of these skills, really. And that would probably be the best, but you can start at any time. So the second one, and this is huge, is encourage self-advocacy. So that's basically, being able to represent yourself or your views and your interest, and also maybe your needs. We see college kids come to college and they need help. This college offers help, but they won't go and ask, or maybe they don't know how to bring that up or who to go to. So helping your students, taking initiative to ask questions to their teachers, to their employer, to maybe even the dentist or the doctor, and maybe they're even making those appointments, in helping them become more advocating for themselves in some of these things. And, it's easy as a mom or a dad to jump right in and answer that question that doctor asked the student, or that, teacher asked the student, but give them time, let them answer, and help them become advocates for themselves. So, and another way is knowing who to contact and what to bring if they have a medical situation at college, or maybe there's even, some legal situations that you're walking through that you can help them observe so they can be more familiar with that. And then being able to complete the paperwork. How many of us go into, the dentist or the doctor and they hand the paper and we fill it out for our child? This is a great time to help them fill it out. Sure, you're offering some answers, but let them do that so they can take more charge of their lives in that way. And then just even helping them understand their own needs and their strengths and weaknesses, and being able to, again, communicate those effectively. So maybe they don't even realize that they're dyslexic, or that there are services for people that are dyslexic. And there's, ways to that. So helping them understand their weaknesses, their needs, but then empowering them to be that advocate for themselves.
Great advice.
The third thing is kind of goes really along with that, is fostering independence. So your student isn't going to be completely independent when they go to college, but they're going to need to have that independency. And we've talked about some of those ways, but some other things, being, self-reliant, being in control of what's happening. So, start now taking initiative in accomplishing tasks. Are you always saying, okay, you need to get to your math, okay, you need to take the garbage out? Or are you building in those skills so that they know these are their responsibilities in the home? They know these are their responsibilities that need to get done today, and they're taking that initiative rather than you're dragging them on the rope, which we've had those situations as well. And ways to do this is, let them attend to the needs when the car needs repairs, and scheduling doctor appointments, or calling the college and asking for a tour, and the decision-making processes all along the way. When you're 2 years old, the decisions are a lot fewer than when you're in high school, and helping them work through those decisions, not giving them the answers, but helping draw out good answers by asking questions. Asking questions is just so helpful in taking it back to them and helping them think through it, because they're going to say, Mom, Dad, what do you think? And then you can say, well, let's take a look at this. What areas will this most benefit you, depending on, the topic, and just drawing out of them the good decisions rather than being that quick fix for them that is so easy for us to do. And one of those ways is budgeting money, and again, budgeting time and other life choices, just helping them make good decisions as opposed to just leading them by the hand and making those decisions for them. And that, again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next point. Some of the things that you can help foster independence is sending them to summer camp. Help them to decide, make good decisions in which camps to go to, maybe doing service projects or going on mission trips, being a part of clubs, whether it's a mock trial or tennis or whatever it is, giving them a chance to be away from you, having to make some decisions, even taking a dual enrollment class at college can be a step towards independence, because those pressures are going to come with those deadlines, and that's going to help them kind of take some autonomy there. Even playing chess and other think ahead games can be very helpful. We need to teach critical thinking. And then again, budgeting their time, their money. And another great idea is getting involved in internships, because again, that will give them some autonomy and help them feel a little more business-like and world-like if they can have those opportunities. So lots of ways to help foster independence in our children, and some will grab to it much easier than others, but we do need to foster that and help them prepare for the decisions that they're going to be making in college and in adult. So the next one is developing basic skills. And again, some people are better at this than others, but it can save a lot of time and reduce stress if you've helped your students work through some of these. And there is some overlap in these topics, and I realize that, but just again, budgeting money and paying bills. Even if they're not paying their college bill, which a lot of them will be, they also have needs that they're going to have to go to the store for. And so are they budgeting their money, or are they enjoying too much time at the coffee shop and now they don't have enough money for laundry soap and they're asking mom for some more? I learned of a app recently. I wrote it down and I'm not sure if it's here. It's called Green. Can't remember it right now, but you've probably seen advertisements. Go ahead.
We can add it to the notes later.
Sure. Okay. So it's an app that allows you to help your children be responsible. So maybe they're getting money for chores. They can, you can put money in their account. You can see every time they spend money. You can limit where they can spend money to. It's just another idea of a way to help grow your children in some budgeting ideas. So we certainly want to do that. Are they paying bills, or is that a new thing when they come to college? Is that going to, for some people that's a stress to have to pay bills. And even, going up to the department, where is that? This is my first time. So just kind of giving them real life experiences is going to help them. Some students may need more help in this next point than others, and that's maintaining that healthy lifestyle. What they're eating. Again, we talked about whether they're sleeping and their schedule, but that's some basic skills. I honestly had in my dorm in college a girl that never took a bath. And because I was the RA, I had to address it, but those roommates were complaining to others, and they finally came to me and said, can we do something about this? So, we don't think about that, but those are some real issues sometimes that come up in school, and they just need to know what's appropriate and even what's healthy in those things. So they'll have a lot of chance to eat junk food. They'll have a lot of chance to stay up late, but having the skills to make those schedules and make healthy choices are going to help them be healthier in college, and even help them deal with stress. And then managing those daily responsibilities. When am I going to do my laundry? I've got to get the oil changed on the car, and I've got all these assignments. Juggling those things, it's a big thing when you get to college. So just giving them some of those skills, even learning how to sew up, if they tear a shirt, or getting stains out of their laundry. Doesn't seem like a big deal to us, but it could be a really stressful thing to your students. And we need to be teaching some of those basic skills. Those will come up no matter what. The next one is cultivating emotional intelligence. And this is, more abstract, but so important. It's helping teenagers understand their emotions and understand that they don't have to react, but they can make a conscious choice, even though they're under this emotion. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's excitement, but responding appropriately, even though those emotions are there. Fear, we do that as adults. We don't know how to face this situation, and yet we've got to get beyond it and go through it. Whereas some teenagers, okay, some adults, they just live by their emotions. But if we can help cultivate that awareness of their emotions and their feelings and being able to control their responses and their interactions with others, that roommate just ticked me off, but do I have to respond in that way? Can I just, take some time, think about it, and then come, respond in a different way? One of those things emotional intelligence shows is when you can delay gratification. That's a struggle. That's a struggle for most teenagers, most adults. But if you can put off going to play tennis with those friends when you know you have an assignment that's due, when you can delay that gratification, or maybe you're just getting hungry, but you really need to finish this reading assignment because class is in 20 minutes, it's making good choices. It's denying yourself so that you can make the right choices at the moment. That's a tough one. We still all struggle with that, don't we? So having that strong character to just be true to your word, be faithful, be ready, and just being able to have that control, I think is huge. And it's difficult to teach. How do you teach that? It's sitting down when the emotions occur and let's talk through this. Let's calm down. Let's bring our thoughts. I know you're angry right now. I know you're hurt right now. Let's just stop and talk about this and just kind of ask questions and draw them out and help them understand those emotions and what's now going to be our right response. And then part of emotional intelligence is knowing and utilizing healthy ways to cope with stress. We all get stressed. A couple of weeks ago, I was extremely stressed. I had so many things to do. Where do you start? And just that emotion of stress was just really building up strong within me. What are those ways that we can help our teens deal with stress? Because make no bones about it, there's going to be stress in college, and it's going to be stresses they've probably never quite experienced before. So what are healthy ways to cope? Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's just taking a break and doing something else for 10 minutes and then coming back. Maybe it's playing the piano or listening to, Mozart or, having coffee with a friend. What are those things that can de-stress us? Help them recognize what things stress them out and what things can help de-stress them is going to help a lot when they get to college and are really facing all of these different things that we've been talking about. And then lastly is providing opportunity for leadership skills. I think in the home there are opportunities for that, but looking outside the home to be able to build those strengths and abilities that they can do to be able to oversee other people and processes, motivating people and helping other people achieve those goals. So wanting to create leadership skills where they can rise above, they will have opportunity at college to lead in societies or sororities, even in meetings. You'll have a study group meeting and to be a leader there or a project that you need to complete. There's going to be ample opportunities to be a leader. And we want to foster that in our children so that they can be the leaders that they need to be. So helping them learn to communicate not just effectively, which is really important. Let's think about what we're going to say and be able to say it in a logical way, but also in a timely way. You can be a really good communicator, but if you don't get back to somebody for 3 or 4 days, you're failing at communication. And so you want to be timely in those things. And also part of communicating is being that good listener and not just stop talking, but really listening to what that person is saying and responding to their words rather than just thinking about what you want to say next. And that's a challenge in the communication department. So, but a good skill. Another one is problem solving. Isn't it easy as parents just to solve problems for our children? We do that all the time, but letting them figure out how are they going to get this done, this done, this done, and this done, and oh, they also volunteered for this. So try it, especially in the teen years, try not to solve those problems for them, but help them draw out the answers through asking questions again and being sometimes silent. Sometimes they just need somebody to bounce it off, but they aren't really asking you for the answer. So helping them work through those problems in the teen years, they're going to be more ready when it comes at college. Collaboration and teamwork, well, that happens at home, whether we're working on the yard or at home. But beyond that, what are the opportunities your teen has to collaborate and do teamwork? Even sports is teamwork. Working towards a goal, maybe volunteering for a project that gives them opportunity to work together. When my teens were in high school, we went to a soup kitchen and they worked alongside people they had never met before. And they did some things at 5:30 in the morning that they had never done before, like see the sun, for example. So just giving them opportunities to collaborate with other people. Some of the really good ones that I think of, if you have this as an opportunity, is mock trial or speech and debate, because that builds confidence as well. And it gives them difficult things to think through and gives them ways to say something that is a better way of communicating things. So just looking for opportunities, again, ministry teams, clubs, summer camps, giving them opportunities to work together. Maybe doing a project-based learning activity where maybe they want to be in horticulture. And so they come up with a project that they have to study. We worked with families. When I was homeschooling, we had 3 other families that we met together and we all talked about something we wanted to do. And one boy, he was, I want to say 12 or 14 years old. He wanted to build a freestanding cabin on his acreage. So that meant he would have to go talk to people about wood, about plumbing, electricity. So rather than solving that for him, he was doing the project and talking to real world people about how am I going to build this and what am I also going to need. And so coming up with that is also a form of teamwork, because you're working with other people. And then helping them, maybe mostly by leading by example, of empowering and inspiring other people and celebrating their successes. Oftentimes it's easy to focus on what we're short on and what our failings are. But when we celebrate success, we elevate it. So if we're celebrating the fact that they just accomplished this great task, they just finished their ACTs, anything, celebrate successes and demonstrating to them different ways to empower and inspire other people will make them a great leader. And then, as I said, leading by example is going to be key in a lot of these things. So those are several things that I would encourage you in your homeschool world to just start taking one at a time and working through these very basic skills that are either going to help them at college or just as they go out on their own as an adult. Mm-hmm. And then go ahead.
I was going to say the profile of a South Carolina graduate has, world-class knowledge is one of the components of what they're trying to do, but they also have these world-class skills and life and career things, and you're hitting and touching on a lot of those things that are in those other components that are really what we want all of our graduates to have. And I buy into it as homeschoolers too. Yes, that's what we want our, graduates to look like and be, successful wherever they go. So
Exactly, yes. And just, and we're talking about being successful in college. Just one tip on the side is start talking about college early. Go to activities on campus, sporting events. It doesn't have to be at the college they even attend. Just getting them used to being on bigger campuses and rubbing shoulders with college students. And then, of course, coming up with a schedule. What things do you want to accomplish in ninth grade, in 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade? There's a lot of things when you look at being prepared to come to college. The transcripts, of course, Mom, you're kind of, or Dad, you're kind of more in charge of that. But different things like filling out FAFSA, even choosing what handful of colleges you want to go visit and when those visits are going to take place. So planning ahead, just starting to talk about college earlier, not as they're seniors. Seniors is almost a little too late. You really need to be just bringing that to the forefront. And it may not be for them, but at least they've experienced it. Go to some college visits, doing whatever preparation is needed ahead of time would be very helpful.
Right. Consider the possibilities. And
yes.
And every college is really different. And so, like, as individualized as homeschooling is, I think that you need to experience and visit lots of colleges to say which one feels right to me, which one has that right fit, because it's an individualized choice of where you want to go and what you want to do afterwards.
And usually you can schedule a private tour, or, for example, Bob Jones University does college up close. And so it's a 2-day event where students can come and go to classes, have tours, talk to faculty and staff, and parents can get questions answered. Most colleges have those kind of days, and those are great to take advantage of. I even encourage families to create a semester course on career exploration. So that includes your college visits, internships, job shadowing, interviewing people that are in that field of study or several fields of study. Some children have no idea what they want to do, and just exposing them. That's another reason to do outside activities of your home, exposing them to new experiences and say, Mom, I really enjoyed that. We had one homeschool family went to college and went on a missions trip and worked with a medical doctor. After 6 years of college in music, she went home and became a nurse because she had that experience and said, this is my love. This is what I want to do. So giving our children different experiences, maybe they'll hate it, maybe they'll love it, maybe they'll find. Some colleges, Bob Jones University has edu-camps, and so there's different ways to explore different careers. There are other colleges that do other things or other experiences, but helping your children know what their life's calling is supposed to be by getting a lot of different experiences.
That's great advice. I appreciate all your knowledge that you've brought today. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Just, remember that preparing students academically is just only one of the check boxes. There's several other ways we need to prepare our children. And I know that you're doing a lot of those, but just to prepare them for the real world in all these different ways. So spend the time this summer considering what ways that you could add to their education through some of these very practical skills.
Great advice. Thanks a lot for coming and talking to us. And I look forward to seeing you around as well and having more interactions with you as time goes on. Thanks a bunch. And hopefully people will consider going to Bob Jones as well and come visit you.
That's always an option. Thank you so much for having me.
All right.